What's good, everybody, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, and we are back with another Qualified TV interview. And I have none other than the Mizzou legend himself. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
He just called me a legend. I ain't no damn legend. Anyways, I am JeVon Adams Walker. That's my name.
Full name?
I don't need to say all that, dog. Also known as Mr. Profights. Be like, what it do, baby? We outside with it. With my Neo. What's up, man? What's the word?
Man, nothing much, bro. I had to get you on. I've been having these great conversations. You know, I know you love to talk. You don't usually be getting interviewed. You be doing the interviewing.
I know, right, man?
So this probably new for you, huh?
This is weird to be on this side of the table, bro. Like when you brought it to me, I was like, wait, what? You want to do what? And I'm like, interview me? Oh shit! All right. I guess if you think that's noteworthy for your stuff, man. Can I cuss on her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Man. If it's good for your shit, dog, then let's do it, man.
Yeah.
So shit. What's up, Qual?
I feel you, man. Not much, man. Well, obviously we'll get to Profights be like, but I guess we'll just start with. Did you know about? And I start Greek because I feel like, of course, that plays a huge role into Profights be like.
Definitely.
But I've also, through getting to know you through Alpha, for me personally, like you were somebody who really showed me. You were somebody who really showed me like just how to have pride in it, like there, and how to have pride in it in a way. Just for somebody who didn't have the exposure growing up, getting to campus and seeing it, and then seeing it from a position of not just people in the chapter, but also from your old heads, from your Profights, it was just like, nah, I ain't gonna say I look forward to being you when I become pro. I ain't gonna say that, but there is a lot of pride, and there is a lot. I'm like, man, if anything, I know JeVon gonna ride for Alpha, and since that's not like you would assume that to be common and be the basis, but that's not always the case. So I always appreciated that. But what made you choose Mizzou, and then ultimately, what about ZA specifically just made you want to go to Alpha route when you got here and said you wanted to go Greek?
So I knew I wanted to be an Alpha before I got to Mizzou.
True. So
I was in the mentoring program back at the crib in East St. Louis, Illinois. The Delta Epsilon Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which I'm a current member of now. And coming up through that chapter in their Lights of Alpha Male Mentoring Program all through our high school, I always knew I wanted to be an Alpha. So when it came down to college choices, of course I looked at, majors I was interested in and things of that nature, but I also looked to see if the Alpha chapter was active on that mug. Right. So I found out ZA was one of the chapters, and of course with the St. Louis area, a lot of bros from Missouri, of course, live in either St. Louis or KC or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I heard good things. I told brothers in the chapter at Delta Epsilon Lambda, Mizzou was one of my choices, along with Jackson State and some others. They say it's it ain't far from home, but it's far enough. And I think you'll like Mizzou. Plus, I went to this camp called Camp Wyman. It was now it's called Wyman Team Leadership Program, and it was these two twins there. Their camp name was Cricket and Sassafras, Sherelle and Danielle Washington. They were Mizzou alums, so they I always tell them, "Oh, you going to Mizzou? You going to Mizzou? You going to Mizzou?" And they kind of helped me get up here as well. So I got to credit them for getting me to Mizzou too, because when it came, I didn't know anything about summer welcome until the month before I was supposed to go to summer welcome. So I was gonna show up to this mug. Cause my mom, my dad never went to college, so they didn't really know the process. Right. That's how I ultimately picked Mizzou. Got here, knew I wanted to be an Alpha. I knew, and some people don't have that luxury of knowing you can't do this, you can't do that when you get to college. So I kind of had a key of discretion, not going up to the Alphas blaring, oh yeah, I want to be an Alpha, or going to the Alpha, the plot in front of BCC, going and tutting or something crazy like that. I knew not to do that stuff. So, but no, I knew Alpha was what I wanted to be, and it took me the second time around to make it, but that's a different story.
Third, hey, look, it take a couple times for some of us.
It took my second time around, dog. So
no, I know.
Glad,
same.
It'd be like that, man. So, but yeah, dog. That's why Alpha and Mizzou. So, what's next? What's up?
What's next? I mean, I think that's important, and I think something. It's funny, and people say it all the time, but when you graduate, usually, and what usually happens is, it's not that the Greek in you dies, because it never dies, but it becomes such less a part of your life, because when you on campus, being Greek is for a lot of people, and not so much in a negative sense, but they are associated and almost generally known by being Greek, and it becomes a part of your lifestyle to where even not so much that you have to tell everybody, but a lot of what you do, a lot of how you operate is based in your association to that, because that's a huge part of your time in undergrad. And once you leave, even if you do join a grad chapter, it's just a completely different feel. So I think it's important that you touched on that. But so from coming to Mizzou, then joining Alpha, what was the spark? What was the trigger exactly? If there was a specific moment for Profights be what was the light bulb moment where it's I think that's something I want to make into a thing.
yeah. And I never said this publicly. Some people know why. Probably a handful of people know why I started it. But shoot, I wanted to really I didn't want to use my personal page to make Greek jokes, basically. I knew I wanted to make fun of Profights because I was a neo at the time.
Right.
And a lot of people's well, why are you making a page called Profights Be Like when you a neo? I'm but I'm gonna be a Profight one day, so why does it matter? That's a whole different story. I ain't gonna go into that. So I started the page because I wanted to use, like I said, I didn't want to use my personal page, so I could make memes to say Profights be like this, Profights be like that. And the day I made it was the 22nd, 23rd. It was that night of the 22nd going into the 23rd, I decided to make it. And, I kind of woke up the next morning on the 23rd, no, I don't think I'm going to do this, And I got news that one of the homies from Mizzou, who's also from East St., where I'm from, he ended up getting shot and killed that morning, at 12 o'clock in the morning or something in his car. Jared Mosby. So finding that out, man, I was you know what? Life's too short. If you're just going to do something, just do it. So that was kind of my motivation to just say, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I don't try to give up on it. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. Don't, sell yourself short. So go ahead and do it. But no, that had a big impact on me, because it's man, you think of because where I'm from, everybody know about East St. Louis. It ain't the best place to be. But he was doing so great, man. He was, we was about to graduate that May. His son at the time was 3, 4 maybe. He had a son, he had a son, that was growing up to, be his brother was a freshman at the time here at Mizzou. Man, it was just a tragic loss, because I've kind of, I've had people, shot and killed before, but it was something about this one that just kind of hit harder. I never knew what it was, but rest in peace to Jared Mosby. They found out who did it. If you was wondering who it was some dude from East St. or whatever. But no, that was my motivation, man. And from there, I the page was just growing, bro, crazy. I got 2,000 followers in 2 days, and then by about April, I had 10,000 followers.
Sheesh.
So at that point, I'm I need to make money off of this.
Right.
So what I started doing, I started charging for shout outs $5. So if somebody throwing a party or wanted to shout out their birthday, $5 to post on my page.
Okay.
And as the page grew and grew and grew, Like by June, I was in contact with AGP, Atlanta Greek Picnic. I got in contact with Tiwa Work. Shout out to Tiwa. And we just we was on the phone for like a good 30 minutes, hour maybe. And he just wanted to know, the plan behind Profights be like, and he got me a ticket to the step show and stuff like that. And that relationship just built up to where anytime I go to AGP, I just, get into everything for free. I just, walk up and, just so that, and that's really not to like brag or nothing, but that's kind of the relationships I've built with other picnics, like NOLA Greek Picnic, Texas Greek Picnic, where I just come in and hop on live or just advertise just being there live, and I'm in there for free. So also making money off some of the picnics as well, whether if I'm hosting.
Yeah.
Like
I know you had a hosting
bro.
tour. You had a whole hosting tour like a year ago.
Dog, I was outside, dog. Man. But no, like it evolved to so much, man. Like what you just said, like hosting and making money off of ticket sales and so many other things, man. I mean, it's crazy and it's amazing to see how much it's grown. I literally just made my page public. It's been private the whole time.
Yeah, I know it was private when we joined the chapter.
Yeah.
So what went into that decision? Why did you have it private for so long? Yeah. And then what made you finally say, you know what, I'm just gonna make the page public?
Yeah, because I was making a lot of Greek jokes on there, and I didn't want non-Greeks seeing what I was saying. But it's like I would post there, then Greeks whose pages are public would post it on their pages, so it was like it's already going public anyway without out of my control. So like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I was on this workshop or whatever, and I just decided, like, you know what, I think I need to make my page public so I can see better insights. People can actually share my posts and things of that nature, because for the last what years? It's going on 7 years.
Yeah,
I've stunted my growth a little bit, being private, because if I'm only accepting Greeks, then I'm weeding out everybody else who's not Greek. So I can probably say if my page was public from the beginning, I could easily have 100.
Yeah, because I remember you were like you said, you were only accepting Greek people.
Yeah,
so if you just let other people, man.
It'd be up there crazy. I'm at like 43 now.
I mean, but what's wild is I think it was. I mean, I want you to speak to that. Like there's such a, I don't know if disconnect is the word, but there's such a divide, maybe, if you will, for lack of a better phrase, between your Greeks and non-Greeks. And I mean, there are simply things that, like, if you're not Greek, you just won't understand. But where do you kind of feel like, especially with that being part of your reason in terms of being private, how do you feel about that relationship as it pertains to, I mean, the type of work that you do? Because you now have to look out for somebody who may not understand, not like whistleblowing or nothing like that per se, but just taking some out of context or not understanding, your jokes or what you're saying, and then that potentially backfire or turn into something where they try to make it into something that's not. Like, have you experienced that before, or anything like that?
I haven't, but I know one thing with Profights be like is with me opening the page public, I have to celebrate Black Greek unity and the culture as well. That's why I put culture up there. You told me to put we're gonna talk about that later probably a little bit, but I think I had to shift my focus because I was posting content that was good for everybody, and the AKA she actually was like, I forget what I posted, but she was like, hey, this is good information, I wish your page was public so that I can share this to my followers or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it's only for Greeks, this and that and the other. And she was just saying, well, I think you should start considering making it. But that was another reason why I did it too, because I mean, I was posting stuff about like voting and just very informational things that will benefit all Black people, not just Black Greeks. Yeah. So I think shifting that focus toward, because Black Greeks are part of the culture as well. So and I think it's like, for my platform, I want to give off positive images of Black Greeks. So how can I do that on a private page?
Yeah.
So, did that answer your question?
No, it did.
Okay.
It did. I mean, because it's. I mean, when you get to talking about it and you kind of get into some of the intricacies of it, it's kind of hard to put into like a solid, succinct answer, because there's just a lot of things when you're dealing with the culture that is the specific Greek culture that's so impactful to Black culture and culture in general, but Greek culture in itself is somewhat of a very, I mean, I would say as Greeks, as a community, we're relatively closed in the sense of how we feel about those who are not Greek trying to penetrate just the Greek community in general. And I think that's because of course what we learn, but I think there's this, I always think there's been this battle of Greeks being seen as the Black elite, but then also not necessarily showing elitism when it comes to dealing with people who are not Greek.
Yeah.
Like, just because you are Greek doesn't mean you're better than someone who's not.
Yeah.
However, in being Greek, there should be a pride and a responsibility that you feel you need to uphold in terms of when all of us, were created, we were created to be the Black elite. So just speak to that and how, as Greeks, we can have a mindset of like holding ourselves accountable and being the example of being Black elites, but also not showing elitism and making it seem like we're above anybody because we have letters.
Yeah. And I don't think that anybody should think they better than, like you said, I don't think anybody should think they better than anybody because of the letters they wear. If anything, we're here to help build our communities, not break down, tear apart our communities.
Right.
Gentrification already doing that enough, so we don't need us doing that to our own communities,
Facts.
But no, I mean, we as Greeks, we joining our particular fraternities and sororities. Everybody has their main points. So like some people say brotherhood, sisterhood, scholarship, love for all mankind, manly deeds. What are some other ones? I'm trying not to be biased towards alpha.
Right.
Manhood, achievement, all those words. And in those words, so let's use alpha for example. Manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind.
Right.
In particular, that love for all mankind, I think really hits home because, like, we're here to get back to our communities and make them better, not, like I said, tear them down. Because once we get into like it's kind of like how people say crabs in a barrel and this and that and the other. We kind of get divided when it comes to situations, and I mean, we fought so long to be together. Why are we, so we shouldn't let me having letters be what, separates us from not being, we are all equal. You know? So we got enough people trying to kill us off by, a traffic stop or whatever the case may be, trying to take over our communities by building a fucking $500,000 house in the middle of the hood just to shoot the property value up so that the taxes in that area go high. That pushes out the Black people and move other people in, it's so much, man. Like, that's a loaded question because I feel like I can talk about it on and on about
it goes deep. It goes to so many different areas. And I think like when you first, I mean, I know I can speak to my experience, but when you first cross, one of the things that naturally is a part of, and I think that's a huge difference, one in being Greek as an undergrad and being Greek as a grad, or just naturally as a professional. But when you an undergrad, man, it's being Greek mixed with the culture that college already has presented. So everything is already kind of a battle, a challenge. So I know when we first crossed, it was like we weren't taught to hate, but the pride almost made it feel like we couldn't be too close, with somebody from another, fraternity. I mean, I feel like luckily for me, I had a lot of very solid friendships before I crossed eventually, and those friendships didn't change like once we all end up crossing, because I had friends that joined other fraternities. But I think it sucks that the mentality almost like we shouldn't have to be taught to still treat somebody who's not in the same fraternity as a brother. But I feel like subconsciously, like, it becomes this thing of because they wear different letters, it's almost as if to say, like, they have different values, which in essence, outside of the different aims, the message is still the same. The goal has always been the same for all of us. Like you said, like, we should be more unified. Like, you can rep your set and still be unified. You know, I think it's very naive, and I don't think I've seen too much of it. I also haven't, you know, seen it from a college standpoint in a while, but I think we're getting better in terms of it not having to feel like a competition or feeling like you got to go at somebody. Like, you can just appreciate, like, you know, I went with this fraternity because it fit me. They went with that fraternity because it fit them. We can still be cool, you know, and respect, you know, whatever, you know, boundaries they need to be respected. But I just think that's possible. And I think for a while it wasn't being taught really that was possible, and it wasn't being shown that was possible. But I feel like that can have a huge negative effect, like you was alluding to, just in terms of, like, when you graduate, none of that shit matters anyway. Like, if I graduate, not even that. I'm saying, like,
it don't matter.
So I've graduated. If I was to get a position and be in some kind of role where I could control who gets hired, what do I look like having a Kappa or a Sigma or a Q that's qualified? That's qualified, like, walking right, that walk into my office and literally sit there and be like, nah, I'm not gonna give you this opportunity, young black man that got his shit together, because you're not my fraternity. And, like, I don't know how many times that's happened in a professional setting, and it might be too much for my
I ain't never heard of it.
I ain't heard of it.
Go ahead.
And I would hope I never do. You know, but just saying, like, I would never want that to become the case because of somebody's mindset, you know, coming from college. And if they don't learn it, I mean, I feel like most people do once you graduate, because, again, don't mean shit. But, you know, that's just something I hope I don't see.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole point of Profights be like, too, because, you know, those positive images. The tagline is celebrating Black Greek unity.
Right.
You know, because, like you said, none of that matters when you leave, you know,
at all.
Undergrad, you know, especially for the ones who graduate.
Right.
But, and going to grad chapter and stuff like that, like, look, I just never, I just wish, sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture because, you know.
But yeah, man.
But no, none of that stuff even matters, man, when you get to, like, grad chapters and things of that nature. Like, especially when, you know, you got people a lot older than you. A lot of them, I don't think, came up like that. I don't know, but, you know, because it looked like, you know, in all the 80s and 90s photos and stuff, they all, you know, hugged up with each other like, yeah, what's up, you know. So I honestly don't know where it all began, man. I got a good understanding of how it started,
right,
but which I'll tell you offline what I think it is. But no, man, that Greek unity is important because, let's say, for example, this presidential election that's coming up.
Right.
We got an AKA running. You know, she can have the support of about 2 million people in the MPHC just off of her being an AKA. You know, so like I said, it goes outside of, you know, being you know, alphas or like going to that job interview stuff you was just talking about. At Worldwide Technology, actually, the reason why I got it was because of the AKA, Daisha. You know, Daisha. She the reason why I ended up getting the job there.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know, so. Yeah.
I mean, shoot, well, granted, that was alpha to alpha, but I mean, that's the reason I got the internship there.
Yeah, because Corian
didn't even work there. Corian just knew, like, Corian knew somebody, knew Robin, who was not the head of HR, but she
later became an AKA.
Right, who later became an AKA, and she was basically in charge of the internship program. That's still, man, I still call her mom to this day. That's still my work mom, man. But yeah, but even then, like, them type of connections, like, it. I mean, that could have been the case even if it wasn't alpha to alpha. Like, whether it was, you know, capital alpha or acute alpha, and he just, you know, knew me from my time. Like, it should still be that idea. Like, if I know you're into this, you know what I'm saying? Like, or if I know this is something that could benefit you, I can't control you getting it, but I can let you know you should apply. Or I can put your name in the best. Like, that's the least I can do. You know, and I shouldn't not do that for any other reason other than, you know, you not being, you know, qualified for the job.
Qualified.
I really was trying to think of using another word, but it just didn't happen.
Speaking of, man, you know what I'm about to bring up?
What you about to bring up?
What we did at Worldwide.
Bro, let me tell y'all how. So, mind you, I know JeVon is a pretty he's always unapologetically himself, which I will always respect. And two, he even like Mans has been retired from. You would think Mans should have been retired from like
retired,
Alpha.
nigga.
You not really. Nigga, if Wipe Me Down came on right now, you would want to hit Wipe Me Down.
I'll sit my ass down.
That'd be a first. No, but anyway, man.
Who You With came on. No,
Fair. I gotta go back to your time, your songs. I forgot. My fault.
I mean, I fuck with Wipe Me Down, but it's too much.
No. Who You With? I'm trying to think. Who are you? Nah, you probably do Dip.
Oh yeah, you know that's my shit. 2 times.
I can't. But no.
That's my
but
shit.
man, we are at Worldwide Technology. We are at this huge ass corporate building. They got the glass windows. Like it's a fishbowl. Like
the chairman a black man, so I felt comfortable doing it. Keep going.
Either way, we in this fishbowl.
The only
like
building in there in St. Louis too. Dave Stewart, look him up.
No, yeah, he actually is pretty cold.
Yeah,
he actually cold. But regardless, so I forgot you were presenting to your team.
Yes.
He was presenting to his team, and he was presenting on Profights Be Like and being Greek. So mine's like.
I had to listen. So we all did like every 2 weeks at our meetings, so we can all get to know each other. We kind of had to talk about something outside of work. So maybe ask me questions. Oh, where you going this weekend and why? And so I decided to put in a presentation. Go ahead, tell your story.
But yeah, man. So we. So he does his presentation, and I'm in there because mind you, it was me and Deja. So we
both of y'all
right.
Come in there with me.
So we in there, and it's just like. We like mind you, I'm like I had one semester left of college at this point, so it's still kind of fresh to me. But I'm like, it felt like I was in some kind. I feel like I was in informational almost. I'm like, what is going on? Why you got the aim? You had the aims up. Everything was in black and gold. I said, nah, this too much. I said, this not supposed to be like this. So then anyway, so he go through the presentation, right? Cool, it's fine. Next thing you know. Did you do it yourself or did somebody ask you?
They asked.
Of course they asked. What they say? I know they didn't say stroll. I don't know.
They said stroll.
They did.
They said
okay.
Stroll.
Maybe you taught them.
Maybe they said because doing that.
Oh no, you mentioned strolling
during it. Stroll and stepping.
Yeah, you did. So they asked. They asked, could we stroll? So in this corporate office, in this fishbowl, just open for everybody to see who walking past. This man really had me, I couldn't say nothing because one, I was still like the Neo of the chapter at the time. Shit, Profights Be Like had me
exactly.
Had me in Worldwide Technology doing Wipe Me Down in a polo and khakis.
We hit that shit.
We did.
We hit that shit.
We did.
And they sure did SK with
us. SK, man. Why was we? I'll never forget when I told the chapter about that, bro. I was like, this man really has me strolling in this internship.
Robin came to me later that day. She like, you got my interns in here strolling. I was like, what you mean?
No, because between Robin, Daisha, and
Brittany.
Yes, and Brittany, because she saw me later. She was like, now why you? She was like, now why you let JeVon? Why you let JeVon? Have you stroll in this office in front of like strolling in front of these white people. Now, why did you do that?
my coworkers, they loved you, man.
I don't know. They was cool. They
talk
cool.
about you.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was cool, man. I mean, last two questions, man. So I would say, so you have the Profights Be Like podcast. Let me start there. You have that. So what was it like starting that? What made you want to do a podcast on focusing on your brand? And then I know you had some major guests so far. So who's been your favorite guest?
Yeah. So getting into the media part, I guess I should just wrap all that up.
Yeah.
Into one. So like, I've always been a person that likes to talk, which is why I host step shows, and stroll walks and stuff like that. So back in 2017, I decided to start a podcast. August of 2017, actually. So I've had it around for about 3 years now.
3 years, yeah.
And my first episode was so trash.
Isn't it always like?
If you go back and listen to the audio on it, bro, it's just like.
Is it the first one is always rough, man?
Oh my God, bro! But you know, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
So, but no, I want to start a podcast to, of course, continue to celebrate Black Greek unity and the culture. In the very beginning, all I did was interviews. So I got like Mr. Bankshot, Indescribable, a lot of other people in the beginning, and then I switched to a format to where I had co-hosts.
Right.
So Tro and CC, shout out to Tro and CC. Tro's he crossed in Philly, Kappa. He's from Jersey. CC, she's from Cali. She crossed in Cali. She currently in Indy right now. So I added them as co-hosts, and we just talk about anything about the culture. So that's a mix of Black Greeks. We can talk about music, the basketball game, a whole lot of stuff that's happening in society. And of course, we're still doing the interviewing of guests. My favorite one, I like them all.
Obviously.
My favorite one was I would probably say Jay Harris.
Yeah, I figured that was your favorite one though.
I really enjoyed that interview, especially interviewing a journalist.
Yeah,
I think plus a journalist that I've watched forever since he's been with ESPN, and I always knew he was an alpha. I explained on that episode. I remember him, and I had to ask him about it because he and Stuart Scott, rest in peace, Stuart Scott, they started off the airline. Goodwill is the monarch of this house. That's how Jay Harris started off. And of course, Stuart Scott threw up the ice. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I went to Alpha yet, I don't think, but I was like, oh shit, that's cool, man. But and Stanford S Alpha too. But no, I like that episode because built that connection with him. He kind of got his story on how he got into journalism. And when I interview people, I kind of want them to share their stories so that they can motivate others who are interested in that field to take the advice or whatever case may be.
Yeah.
I did like this last episode that I did with Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. She's from U City, St. Louis. And she's found the cure for cancer using laser technology.
Man,
a lot of people don't know. I mean, she's been on BET. She got all type of awards, but she's not trying to get government funding anything. She's trying to get it straight out the mud, independent. And people oh yeah, that's dope, but ain't nobody donating money. So, and that's what she needs. She needs $10 million. She got 1.2 now. So, just being a part of that was great. I did Ohan Ashe, who's an activist in St. Louis. I did my boy Mike Jones from Free Roots from St. Louis. It's been Tiwa from AGP. I had Mo from Midwest Greek Weekend on there. I'll be having Watch the Yard on there soon.
Okay.
My boy Jonathan. And I got an episode coming up with the Midwest Regional Vice President of Alpha.
Oh, okay, that's man.
Ron Stovall. So, and I'm looking to get Brandy Evans from P Valley. So
yeah, man.
You like that?
Go ahead, get Mercedes on there, dog.
You like that?
Yeah.
Man, you gonna get copyright infringement on this one if I start singing that song.
Don't go ahead and say the song.
1, 2, break them. Let me stop, dog. But no, it's so many people that I got a list here. I'm about to just name off the list of people.
I'm already knowing.
I got a list, dog.
I feel it,
man. Let me pull up the list real quick.
Look. Let me know who all I need to be watching out for.
Yeah. So, oh dang, man. So I want to get Montel Jordan.
Okay. Man, you ever thinking? Wow, nah, that might be big though. Well, I mean, not that anything is too big for you, but I mean, Said from
Said on here.
Oh, I'm about to say,
he from St. Louis, so
you know he gotta be on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I got Keisha Bottoms on here.
Okay.
Deshauna Barber, Miss America.
Okay.
Amari Hardwick.
Yeah.
Swaggy C from Shade 45.
Okay.
Ken Whitley, Charlie Ward. That's so many people. Benny Boone.
Yeah.
I got Soledad O'Brien, Mark Lamont Hill, which I gotta get back with Mark Lamont Hill because he's supposed to do. He's been writing a book or something. Darius Leonard, so many people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the
list.
Man. I think that's the fun part, and I mean, I can relate to just the excitement of having that list and knowing that. I mean, I can imagine, like, for me, I'm getting to the point now, like, when I'm looking at people I want to interview, it's like, I love interviewing people I know, but I've just now started to get to that myself, like, reaching out, like, to people who I don't know personally, letting them know, like, hey, this is what I have going on. Yeah. I would love to interview you and have you tell your story and talk to you. And I'm genuinely surprised at, not, like, saying it's easy, but the willingness of a lot of people to do it and talk, because I think you first think about it, like, man, I don't got no name, you know, like they like right, like they talking to me for what? Like, what's that gonna do for them? Yeah. But for them, it's like sometimes they don't like the attention we think they get. They don't get a million opportunities to really talk about their story and them. Like, anything they're doing might be centered around whatever project they're working on or whatever they have to do for whoever they work for and not them. Yeah. So it's kind of just like, take a shot in the dark, man. Like, and the worst that could happen is no. Yeah. And if it's a no, like, it ain't the end of the world. Yeah. So definitely. For me, I think that's in the, and I mean, I'll tell you before, man, like, you've been inspiration just in keeping it going. Like, you keep, but man, like, you've kept, in this weird way, you've kept your youth. Like, because, like, you've graduated, but again, because of what you do, you stay so tied into the culture. You have to be. What is it like still being able to be so dialed in where you can still relate and still get up and talk with a set of neos who just crossed in 2020, even though you crossed a while back?
I think that's the true spirit of the fraternity.
Yeah.
When you join an organization, like for me, like, I joined this organization so I can gain brothers, young or old, you know? And I think the eldest brother that I know is probably like 90 years old. He used to be my, let's see, maybe like 85, 80, somewhere around there.
Right.
He used to be my mom's principal. Another older brother up there, he used to be the superintendent of the district of 189. He got my grandmother hired into the district, you know, so I still have close connections with them, and even though we so far in age gap, I can still talk to them like they my brother. I still call them, you know, Mr. McKinney and you know, Dr. Mason and stuff like that, you know. But they still, I can say, hey, what's up, Brother McKinney or Brother Mason, you know, whatever the case may be. It's just, I don't know, it's just a good feeling. I don't really know how to explain it. If you know what that feeling is, then you kind of just run with it. And I think with me, when it comes to ZA, well, one, being Profights be like, that's part of the brand. I mean, everybody don't need to know that I'm an alpha, but they need to know that I'm a Greek, because if a person running a Profights be like Pages non-Greek, then it's like, what are you doing? You
exactly.
know? But no, when it comes to like y'all, well, you ain't even trying to know, but you know what I mean. Yeah. When it comes to ZA, I feel the need to be able to bridge the gap between current chapter and alumni ZA. Right. Because that connection is so important. Alumni ZA understand how it is to be, you know, broke and trying to raise money for a chapter and plan parties and be the best organization on campus, this, that, and the other. So I think that since, you know, Alumni ZA has already gone through those things, why not have them share that with the current chapter? And in most cases, even when we was in chapter, niggas don't like to listen.
It's a thing.
I mean, I get it, like, you know, them, they just talking, being old niggas or whatever the case may be, but in some cases they
know what they saying.
I'm saying they, like, I ain't old. They be knowing what they saying, man, and sometimes you just gotta sit and listen, man. I mean, you join a fraternity to build that brotherhood, you know. I can remember a time when I was a senior here at Mizzou, and it was homecoming. Instead of going out and kicking with, you know, my friends and stuff, I went and kicked it with the alumni brothers at their party. You know? So it's like, I just think that it's important to have somebody be that middleman to kind of bring everybody together. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, like right now, the chapters need support because of COVID. You know.
Yeah.
Where else they gonna go other than alumni? You know.
Yeah.
The niggas who doctors, lawyers,
No,
accountants,
literally.
everybody making all this bread. You know, like I mean, why not use that? And that's another thing too. Like when it comes to like monetary donations for any chapter, like a stranger is less likely to give you money rather than somebody who actually knows you. You know.
Yeah.
Like let's just say, for example, our chapter, like once people graduated or they had no connection with, you know, ZA at all afterwards because, you know, whatever the case may be, the chapter looking for money, they go to alumni and they say, oh wait, who are you? I don't know you. What's your name?
Yeah.
You know, so
right.
you become less inclined, even though you part of the fraternity, but are you really my brother?
Yeah.
Know? So
huge difference.
Yeah, man. So I think that's what it is, dog. And I mean, I don't know why I feel obligated to play that role, but maybe
somebody got to.
Somebody got to do it, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. So hopefully, somebody else take the reins over me, being the middleman, because current chapter be getting on my nerves. Alumni brothers be getting on my nerves because they come asking me questions about current chapter. I'm like, well, shit, why don't you ask one of them motherfuckers? Shit, dog, dang. You know, shoot.
I'm weak, man. Nah, but
we're gonna be 8 this year. Now that I think about it, woo.
Yeah, we only gonna be 4. No, y'all gonna be 8 this year. We turn 4 next year.
Oh man, yeah. Damn, you about to be 4, cuz? God damn.
Yeah, you about to be 8. I keep forgetting y'all was that far back. Honestly.
All hell, fall 12. What a time to be alive, man.
I can only imagine,
bruh.
Man, but no, my last question for you, the question that is the basis of all of this, of everything that we talked about, everything that I'm doing. You are an entrepreneur. You are somebody who has shown an immense appreciation for a culture that is so important to us as people and so important to our advancement even. In doing all that, in doing what you do, and in loving what you do, what makes you qualified?
This is weird, by the way, being interviewed. Like, what makes me qualified? Cause I'm a real nigga, duh. Like what? And this is the crazy thing, right? Here's what makes me qualified too. Yeah. So Dr. Hadid Nicole Green, I just talked about. For some reason, she was thinking that, you know, all I did was social media stuff. Like, she didn't know I had, like, a real job outside of Profights be like. I'm like, I work at, you know, Purina. I work in procurement. I got a real job. She's like, oh, I don't know why I thought you only did this. But, I mean, what makes me qualified, that's a loaded question, bro.
Yeah, I know.
How do I even answer that? I'm just a real nigga, man. I make it do what it do, dog. In everything I do, I make sure I put forth my best effort. I like to bring people together who share differences, but hopefully the end goal is to make sure we all are on one accord and can understand each other outside of racist shit. But because if you racist, you racist. I ain't fucking with that.
I mean, facts. That
yeah. But no, man, man, that's a hard question. What makes me qualified? Qualified for what, my nigga? Like
for everything, man. For what you doing?
Okay. I think just the way I was made. I mean, like made by God. You know. God.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the way I was made, man. Like I don't. It's a lot of things that got me to the place I am today. Like I wasn't always this JeVon, you know. I've always been a person to like talk in front of crowds. Like I talked in my 5th grade graduation, had to get up in front and do, you know, something, you know. I've been in the oratorical contest. I've just been kind of groomed for what I am now, you know. I've always been a people person. I've always been, you know, outgoing. I like to make people laugh. I like to have fun. And I think with me being the only child on my mom's side, you're gonna probably laugh at me on this one. But whenever my cousins would come over to play or whatever, and they left, I would start crying. because I was like, oh, I don't want you to go, So I think with that, like that being around people has kind of also formed me to who I am today, because it makes it easier for me to have conversations with somebody who's different from me.
Yeah.
Like with my job I'm at now, going through the interview process, they told me the reason why they picked me for the job is because they felt like I was the most open, because I shared a lot of things that they didn't expect for me to share. In particular, though, the reason was so with my last company, when the George Floyd incident happened or whatever, the CEO sent out a bogus email that I ain't like. And of course, well, the question was from the job I'm in now. They said, name a difficult situation where you spoke up when others didn't want to speak up. So I used that situation. I said, hey, so this has nothing to do with work at all, but an email was sent out by the CEO of the company, and me and a couple other, black people in the office got together and sent something to the chief operating officer to let him know how we felt. And then we had a whole PowerPoint slide explaining, why Black Lives Matter, this, that, and other. The company didn't even have Martin Luther King Day as a holiday, bro.
It's a national holiday.
Exactly.
How you gonna have it as a holiday?
Exactly. So after, because I had that in my part or whatever, and because like on Martin Luther King Day for me, I do like a lot of community service around on that day, or go to different programs and stuff like that, marches, and I was telling them that, like, this is usually a day where I do this and that and the other, and it's a national holiday. Martin Luther King we should all know who Martin Luther King is, this, that, and the other. And I mean, immediately after we concluded, he was like, well, I do know one thing, Martin Luther King is going to be a holiday for us now. And I'm like, well, shit, that's what it took. Should have been a motherfucking holiday.
Right, yeah.
But no, for that reason is why they, decided to take me. And I just think that the different programs I was in, coming up as a kid, like I mentioned, Camp Wyman, and going to Loyola Academy, and being part of the Dan Devereaux Memorial Scholarship, and so many things that shaped me into the person I am today, plus the people who are around me, So shout out to all the homies, shout out to people I went to school with, elementary, middle, high school. Shout out to my dean. To be honest, my dean keep me going. He probably won't. Hopefully he don't listen to this, because I don't want to get his head any bigger. Corey is somebody I look up to, because when I first met him, found out he was from East St. I'm from East St. So we made that connection. Right. And then when this nigga became an alpha, bro, because he crossed fall 10. That was my first semester or whatever. And I was wondering, like, man, where's he again? I ain't seen him. And then get to the probate, and this nigga up there, I'm like, this nigga here, bro. I know he wanted to be an alpha. So, and that just made the relationship even better, And I know I mentioned becoming an alpha the second time around. Of course, we got a spring 12 line and the fall 12 line. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, because he ended up being my dean as well. So it's like, dang, I mean, like, shit, like, I wasn't meant to be on that spring 12 line, Right. I mean, granted, he was 80 of that line, but it was meant for him to be my dean, because I know going through, when fall 12 came around, I was interviewing with Target and stuff like that, and he had, had internships with, like, Aldi and stuff like that, and he's still, doing it big career-wise. Yeah. I always kind of went to him for, like, little career advice and, stuff like that, and along with some other people, but I probably went to him the most. So, he keep me going, man. He pushed me to be the best person I can be, yeah, that's it about that. Anyway, I had to throw a little hate in there. Bring it back down.
What's ZA without any hate?
Exactly, man. Yeah, dog. So, yeah.
But alright, man, y'all will see him discuss these albums in the Qualified Extra, so y'all should go catch that. But this has been the interview. If y'all didn't know why this man is qualified, I hope this interview has showed y'all that why he is a character.
And you can find out more as to why I'm qualified by following me. My personal Instagram is JeVon JeVonaw. And then I got Profights Be Like, Prophytes. If you don't know how to spell Profight, ask your Profight. But if you don't have any Profights, then ask somebody who do got Profights. Profights Be Like on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Why are you laughing, dog?
Because what's wrong with you? Like,
ProFightsBeLike.com. The podcast is the Profights Be Like podcast. It's everywhere. College Days, the animated series, is on YouTube. Make sure y'all go watch that. He watched the first episode yesterday, I think it was.
It's genuinely hilarious.
Hey, man, they be hating on me, dog. Told me, man, I know this shit be corny. They would be laughing their ass off. Anyway, I think that's it, dog.
I think that's it. That's all the shout outs. That's all the things people need to follow. We gonna have them all pop up anyway. So
yeah, I think that's it. Niggas say they outside. Send the Addy. I'm a slide. So call, send me the Addy. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, brother. Even though I'm kind of drove as to the reason why I came up here, but basically this what happened, right? I came up here to Mizzou for Black and Gold Friday. Come to find out, it wasn't Black and Gold Friday. Black and Gold Friday ain't till next week. So I ended up buying everything at full price, and I'm mad. So yeah, that's my story. But that's it. Shout out to Steve for inviting me. Steve calls the second. Shout out to his shit. When you cross Spring 17?
Spring 17.
Spring 17. Shout out to Spring 17. Shout out to all the Deuce clubs out there, because ain't no line without a Deuce.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Alright, we out.